Hey there, how there, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter. I'm welcoming you to another Above the Rim basketball video to do with college basketball and another pack I actually bought recently. So, the game gave me certain team packs to start with. They gave me the 83-84 team tournament, the 83 pack, the 85 pack, the 86 pack, a pack of 88 to 91 teams, 80 through 82, 75 through 79, 70 through 74, 65 through 69, 51 to 64. If you buy the super version, you get all those team packs for free alongside the game. So I decided to, well, I made 12 seasons and 12 tournaments of 4 teams winning. So I decided what I did was I said I want to make 16 and then make a 64 team super college tournament. So what I'm doing is I went to buy 2 tournaments, the 87 and the 94 tournament. You see on the top left, it says top 64 and all that. That's the teams that went to the 94 championship, went to the NCAA basketball tournament. So I bought the 94 tournament teams and the 87 tournament teams. And there'll be 2 more team packs and 2 team packs I bought. Like team packs, not for the tournament, but for team packs. So anyway, we're going to do the 94 tourney and all that to create tournament. 753, and then the last 64 and all that will be 1 game winner to go. Everything's random. Our first matchup randomly will be Arkansas. Oh, my boys, Arkansas against UAB, the 94 champions, the team that I actually picked to win. I was 9 years old when this tournament happened, and City TV, a specialty channel in Toronto, like an over-the-air specialty channel in Toronto, broadcast the NCAA tournament, getting this simulcast with CBS. And I watched Arkansas win the tournament, and I said, you know what, that would be my NCAA team because I was 9 years old and all that. But anyway, Arkansas, did they win this game? They sure did. They beat AB 70-58. Corliss Williamson, Scotty Furman, David Stewart, Clint McDaniel, and Beck. I can't remember his first name playing. You got Dillard, Crawford, Robinson, Remack, Wilson, Martin, Ansquad, and Merritt. UAB, their best guy was 20 points by Shannon. That's not Ray Allen. He played for UConn. So I got that. Next up will be Cal versus Michigan State. Big one because was this the year after Jason? Yeah, the year after Jason Kidd was. No, Jason Kidd was on the 94 team, wasn't he? For Cal against Michigan State? I think he was. Yes, he was. But MSU wins 82-69 thanks to 31 points by Sean Respert, future Toronto Raptor. Eric Snow, future Sixer, with 7 points. Those are the long names. Wachinensky, Gabriel, Polowanski, and Nickel Dermott. Wow, they really had the letters. Lamont Murray put up 37. Michael Stewart with 4. I think he used to be at Raptor. But Jason Kidd with 6 points and 6 assists in 32 minutes. But, that was the team. And then he got drafted, I think. Next up is Kansas versus St. Louis. This should be easy. Oh, it wasn't easy. It took double overtime for Kansas to get rid of St. Louis. Unreal. 22 from Claggert, 17 from Dobbs. Kansas was down by 5 at the half. 28 from Ostertag, future Jazz. Jacques Vaughn, future Hawk, with 7. Scott Pollard, future King, was on that one. Personal fouls, well, nobody got to 5 fouls, which was pretty good. It was a clean game in that. Next up, Washington State Purdue with Glenn Robinson, who became the #1 draft pick out of the 94 draft for Purdue. And he beats Wazoo 84-72. Hendrickson with 11 points, Fontaine 12 off the bench. Purdue 32 from the big dog Glenn Robinson. Standback with 12, Jennings with 11 off the bench. Cincy, Wisconsin, powerhouses. Wisconsin wins 74-72. Michael Finley, future Dallas Maverick, with 23 points. Cincy, 16 from Wingfield. That's not OJ McDuffie because I think he played for Penn State in football. Wingfield was 16. I think I remember seeing a Cincinnati game when I was younger. Temple versus Navy and Anchors Away does not happen. Temple wins 69-65. McKee with 20 points. Jones with 18. This was the team in which John Chaney was the coach, and he basically threatened to kill the UMass coach, John Calipari. Navy losing 16 from Michael Cooper. Next up is Florida versus Kentucky. Man, these two have to face each other in the first round. And Kentucky wins 71-57, 23 from Ford, 12 from Dent. Tony Delk on that team. 2 years later, he would win the title. Walter McCarty, 2 years later, would have a better thing with Shepard and Epps. Florida, 22 from Cross, 10 from Hill. Andrew DeClerc, the future Magic, with 4 points. And 13 from Kuzma. Missouri, Boston College. Boston College making the big upset of North Carolina in the second round. And in this round, they beat Missouri 77-60. 15 from Howard Isley, future Jazz. Abram with 10. 16 off the bench for O'Liney from Missouri. 19 from Booker. They didn't really represent well. New Mexico State Indy. And Bobby Knight wins over NM State. 13 from Dockery. Indy, 25 from Evans. Alan Henderson with 9 points. Future Hawk. Graham and Bailey also playing 2. Patrick Knight, the coach's son, with only a minute of play. Massachusetts, UCLA, two good teams having to face each other, and it would be LA winning 79-77. 22 from CDAC, the O'Bannon brothers, Ed and Charles, with 26 points combined. Tyler Sandy, 14 points. The next year, LA would do better, winning the 95 tournament. Cameron Dollar let him holler, 24 minutes play, but he had 4 fouls. 20 points from Williams. Marcus Camby was on the bench. He would play a better role 2 years later for UMass. Providence, Arizona. Zona crushes Providence 88-66. 24 from Khalid Reeves, 20 from Damon. 26 from Williams for Providence, if you must know. Kelly Sandy, that's a weird name. But yeah, Arizona wins. Virginia, Wake Forest, ACC battle, and Wake with the win. 23 from Randolph Childress, who was a pretty good ACC player. Owens with 19. A young Tim Duncan playing 20 minutes. Rusty LaRue, who played quarterback for Wake's football team, with 6. The Cavaliers had lots of people with 0. Burrell played 22 minutes. The bench, only one player scored off the bench, and that was Robinson. So, nuts to you. Next up, Oklahoma State, Syracuse, and Syracuse loses to OK State. 21 from Big Country Reeves, who led Oklahoma State in real life to the Final Four the next year. 19 from Rutherford. 17 from Mona and Audrey. 14. John Wallace, 2 years later, would lead Syracuse to the final. Corkhill and Reef Snyder. Marquette, Chattanooga. Marquette beats Chattanooga. 18 each from Alfred and Jim McElvain, future Sonic. 20 from Bourne, 19 from Copeland for Chatty Cathy. North Carolina AT&T against Hawaii. And Hawaii moves on to the next round. 21 from Maroney. The Rainbow Warriors, as they call themselves. 19 from Williams for AT&T. Alabama Liberty. Sees Liberty win 75-50. 20 from Dixon doing his job. Antonio McDyess, future Nugget, with 12 points for Bama. Tennessee State, Maryland. And Maryland thought they won. Maryland was saying, we're going to win. But no, Tennessee State beats them and goes to this next round. 25 from Beasley, 24 from Carlos Rogers, who would be a future Raptor. 23 from Rhodes. Joe Smith with 14. He would be a future #1 pick the next year. Memory serves me right. Lots of things. Any foul outs? 1. That was by Booth, Maryland. Penn versus Louisiana Lafayette. And Penn will move on. 85-77. The Quakers. 25 from Pierce. 20 from Starks for Louisiana Lafayette, and Allen with 19. Duke versus Texas. This is a big one. And the Dukies lose. The Duke got us upset by Texas. 80-78. Decided 26 from Cherokee Parks. Grant Hill was still in the squad with 14 points. Jeff Capel there too. It was like, how the hell did they lose to Texas? 20 from Tyler Wingfield with 11 and all of that. So yeah, big upset there. Ohio and Louisville, the battle of the Bay, and Louisville beats the Bobcats. 26 from Gary Trent, future Trailblazer. 20 points from Rozier, Minor with 12, and Calhoun is there too. Tulsa, Minnesota sees overtime heroics for Tulsa, 99-97, 29 from Collier. 24 from Carter and Fashawn Leonard, McDonald 20. Nasi Gamasabu. What a name. Green Bay versus Michigan, and the Wolves win. Wolverines win 78-63 despite Chris Webber declaring for the draft early. 29 from for Jalen Howard. Can't be Jalen Howard. Yeah, Juwan Howard. That's it. Ray Jackson 15 points. Um, Jalen Rose with 10. Abdul Wahad playing on that team. Nadai playing on that team. Green Bay 9 from Nogart, 13 from Berlowski. I think who did they beat in '94? They pulled off a massive upset. Can't remember. Nebraska, Southern Illinois sees the Salukis win 81-76, 21 from Lusk, 23 from Piakowski from the Clippers. Pretty much the best Nebraska player ever. Western Kentucky Seton Hall will see Western win 70-60. Nobody got a lot of points. It was basically a team effort. 16 from Caver, 14 from Brown. That was PJ Carlesimo's team. Drexel and Charleston, and it's Charleston who will dance with Charleston to the round 32, 65-62, 17 from Busby, 24 from Whistler in the loss. Malik Rose also playing for that thing. Loyola versus Ryder, and Ryder will ride on. Yeah, the randomization helping small schools move on, and Ryder beats Loyola. 17 from Hames, 15 from Lopez in 7 minutes off the bench. 25 from Bergen in the win. New Mexico, Georgetown, shocked. They should have won against New Mexico, but they didn't. 16 from Brown, 15 from White. Don Reed with 6 points, Butler with 13. Allen Iverson did not play on this team. I think he was a sophomore, or was he a freshman when he was drafted in '96? But yeah, Georgetown loses. They're like, what the fuck? Texas State, George Washington with Yinka Dowry, the tribesmen, as they call them. They beat Texas State 21 from Wade, 22 from Yinka Dowry, 22 points, 10 rebounds. Who was mocked for not scoring buckets in the NBA? Texas Southern Central Florida sees Central win 87-78, 21 from Saxton, 50 from Swabby, 20 from Granger. Illinois, James Madison. And it's Illinois with the win 97-91, 25 from Thomas. James Madison, 17 each from Vincent, and Kukuko Linton, 18 points and 29 minutes off the bench. North Carolina, Pepperdine, North Carolina, loses to Pepperdine. Unreal. 19 points from Rasheed Wallace off the bench in 26 minutes. Jerry Stackles on that team. Dante Calabria, Serge Swicker, Eric Montrose playing, and Derek Phelps playing. Donald Williams, the MVP of the '93 tournament, playing, but they lost to Pepperdine. 35 from Lopez. And the last matchup, UConn Boise, and it would be Con winning 87-79. 32 from Daniel Marshall. There's two Marshalls. D. Marshalls will play. Ray Allen, 13 points off the bench. Kevin Ollie's there. Travis Knight. Anyway, Boise, 24 from Coker. And UConn has two D. Marshalls. Danielle. Who's the other guy? Danielle and Donnie Marshall. No relation, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, the round of 32. First matchup is Charleston versus Southern Illinois, so someone small is going to move on, and it's going to be Charleston. We'll move on to the Sweet 16, 78-71, 28 from Busby. Southern Illinois just getting unlucky. Temple, Michigan sees Michigan fall to Temple. 29 from McKee, 20 from Eddie Jones. Maybe, not John Calvert. I had the coach, but I forgot his name. But anyway, the Temple coach, I forgot. John Chaney, probably from Michigan. 23 from Juwan, 19 from Jalen. And they lost. Next matchup is Central Florida, OK State, and Bay Country will lead them to the win. 19 from Swan, be 18 from Butts. Bay Country, 22 points, 14 rebounds, 26 from Thompson, playing his game. Then we have Tennessee State, UConn, and UConn pulls it off. Tennessee State couldn't believe it. 20 from Carlos Rogers, 32 from Danielle Marshall. In the win, all right. Marquette, New Mexico. And New Mexico wins 72-66, 22 from Brown, Nez with 12, 14 each from McElvain and Miller from Marquette in the loss. Wisconsin UCLA, big matchup there. And in the end, LA wins 72-65, 22 from Ed O'Bannon, 16 from Griffith. Cameron Dollar scored 6 points against the boys' Tyler 78 as well. Kentucky BC, big matchup. And in the end, it was Kentucky 82-78, 23 from Tony Delk. During his job, McCarty, Shepard, Epps off the bench. 26 from Isley, trying to do their job, but they failed. Purdue, Wake Forest, great matchup. And Purdue wins 71-63. Big Dog with 25 points. Tim Duncan, 7 points in 16 minutes, but he'll grow better. M State Liberty, and State wins 82-61. As Rasburg with 27 points, Eric Snow with 13, Chapman 10 points for Liberty. Louisville, Pennsylvania. And in the end, it was the Cardinals winning 80-56, 20 from Morton, 17 from Rozier, 18 from Mallet. Texas, George Washington. And in the end, GW with the win, 68-63. Inca only had 8 points, but he had 16 rebounds, 15 from Evans Pearsall, 23 from Tyler. They just had nothing going. Next up, we have Arizona, Western Kentucky. And Arizona's going to win? No, they lose to the Hilltoppers, 19 from Robinson, 13 from Bunton, 15 from Reeves, 10 from Damon Stoudemire, who would become a Toronto icon. Pepperdine, Hawaii. And it would be Pepperdine moving on to the Sweet 16, 31 from Jones. He almost outscored Hawaii by himself, 20 from Ruffin, 1 point from Maroney. And now the final 3 games, Indiana, Rider. Rider tried their best, but Indiana got them in the draw. 23 points by Alan Henderson, Damon Bailey 14, 13 from Haynes. Tulsa, Arkansas. Come on, Arkansas. Yes, 94-83. Tulsa almost got him. 21 from Sky Furman, Corliss for 16. 21 from Dillard off the bench for 16 minutes. Well, he had 4 3-pointers, 18 from Seals. Nolan Richardson ruining his former team. And finally, Illinois, Kansas. Good matchup. In the end, it was KU. Woodbury 13, Chapon 13, Ostertag 4 points, 22 from Thomas, Scotty Pollard. Final 16. Arkansas, New Mexico. Well, Arkansas, can they win? They do. New Mexico didn't have anything. 20 from Corliss, Spur with 9, Beck with 11, Dillard 15, Robinson 11. So this team's looking good. Enskov and Rimac. New Mexico 18 from Brown in the loss. Connecticut, Pepperdine sees another upset. Pepperdine is going to the quarterfinals. Unreal. So Pepperdine doing their job. 82-77, 21 from Parker, 15 from Norver, 29 from Danielle Marshall, 9 from Donnie. Western Kentucky versus Purdue. And it's a win for the big dog, Glenn Robinson, 39 points, getting them to the quarterfinals, half of them by himself. 18 from Robinson, 18 from Frelix. Next up, MSU, Indiana. Man, great matchup in the Big Ten. And it would go to Indiana, 96-86, 24 from Bailey, Henderson, Evans, 16, 33 from Raspert, but it wouldn't be there. Fight with 11. George Washington, Oklahoma State, and the Battle of the Big Ben sees OK State pull it off. 18 from Reeves, 11 rebounds. Yankadari, 16 points, 12 rebounds. So, Battle of the Big Men. Kansas versus Temple. And Temple. And Kansas crushes Temple. 69-53, 20 from Scott, 14 from Pollard, 15 from Jones. Sixty-nine 53. Kentucky, UCLA, Great Reverie. And Kentucky with the win to go to the quarterfinals. 28 from Delk, 22 from Rhodes. 27 from Tarver, being the shooting guard today. Ed O'Bannon, 15 points. Edney, 5 points. Cam Dollar, 3 points. No one goal. And finally, Charleston versus Louisville. And in overtime, Louisville survives Charleston, who almost pulled off another one. 22 from Rozier, 20 from Morton. Osborne had no points in 35 minutes, but who cares? So I look, it's like 8 schools that deserve to be there. Indiana, Kentucky. Of course, the basketball gods had to draw them in the first round, in the quarterfinals. And in the end, it was Indiana who survives Kentucky in overtime in game number 3, 26 from Henderson in 40 minutes. Evans did foul out for Indiana. Kentucky had both Riddick and Delk foul out with 5. Rhodes with 22 points. So Indiana beats Kentucky to move on to the quarterfinals. They're guaranteed to be in that 64-team tournament because they're top 4. Louisville will take on Purdue. And the big dog will help Purdue beat Louisville. Back-to-back. Robinson, 27, Martin, 26. 23 from Rozier, 20 from Wheat. Martin. So Purdue sweeps. Kansas takes on Pepperdine, the week 1 of the tournament. And in the end, a shocker. Kansas thought they were going to take down Pepperdine and get to the semifinals. They don't. Pepperdine is now in the final 4. 18 from Lopez, 15 from Never, 15 from James. Ostertag and Woodbury couldn't score the points. Scott Puller scored 9 points off the bench, but Kansas can't believe it. In their home barn, they lose. Now Arkansas has Oklahoma State. Reeves versus Corliss. Come on, baby. Oh, oh, so close. And the Final 4 would have meant Arkansas would have gotten a decent number, if anything. They lose to Oklahoma State in the final 8. Reeves with 18, Corliss 22 points. And there won't be a second chance. Oklahoma State against Pepperdine, the 2 teams that should not have won their quarterfinals. In the end, in game 5, Pepperdine beats OK State. So Pepperdine did it again. How the heck do these guys do it? Oklahoma State was supposed to win. I think it would have been Arkansas take down Pepperdine, but Pepperdine wins 20 points from Jones. Rather, Reeves had 6 points in only 18 minutes. Pepperdine can't believe they won, but they did. It was nip and tuck all the way through. Indiana Purdue, the Battle of Indiana, the state. And Indiana pulls it off in game 4. 23 from Bailey, 22 from Henderson, 35 from Big Dog for Purdue, but they can't do it. It's now the Hoosiers versus the Waves. Hard to believe I have to say that. Well, since Oklahoma State did survive longer than Purdue, they were third. They lasted 5 games. Purdue lasted 4. OK State will take third. Purdue will take fourth. And we'll have to go down into the 49 to 64 group. But Oklahoma State takes third. Purdue takes fourth. You got 2 big men. Indiana, how do they do? Well, they took out New Mexico State, they took out Rider, Michigan State, they took down their hated rivals Kentucky, and then Purdue, their in-state rivals. Damon Bailey getting the points and all that. And Pepperdine, I don't know how they're doing it. Dana Jones is just being iconic and all that. They're 19 and 11, and yet they've won all these games. They beat North Carolina, which is like a massive upset. Then they took care of Hawaii. Then they took out Con. Then they took down Kansas. Then they took down Oklahoma State. So Pepperdine has taken down 4 legendary teams out of 5. Hawaii is the only interloper, but Pepperdine deserved to make the finals. Unreal. Well, we'll see what happens. Pepperdine's guaranteed at least second place. Goes Indiana. And in the end, it was no contest. 5 games. Indiana wins 22 from Henderson. Pepperdine's Cinderella run gets snapped on. Indiana will win and get a top 16 seed, the 94 Indiana squad. Pepperdine will take second, which is pretty good for a school like them to get a decent seat, and they'll get home court, if you will. Yeah, it's like St. Bonaventure 1961, but Indiana wins. First stats 18.7 from Henderson, Bailey 17 points, Evans 12.9. Look at this 10 different Hoosiers, including Patrick Knight, started a game. So Knight was just playing the percentages. Pepperdine. I don't know what text means. Doesn't matter, right? Well, Pepperdine. Lopez 16.3, Jones 15.7. So they also started a lot of players, all but, well, 9 players started one game. So they just knew, well, the 5th position was the rotational one, I think. But yeah, Pepperdine did it. They made the final. They did win game 3 in Indiana, but Indiana proved their worthiness. And poor Arkansas, again, they suffer a big loss and they won't make the tournament. Although Arkansas does have a representative of the 90 Razorbacks. Well, that's just one. Ugh, I'm just disillusioned right now. Very. Anyhow, Jeff, I'm going to do.